Good morning, beautiful people. Today I decided to make Yamarita for my family. And the first thing I did was to peel the yam and at the same time washed it properly. Put it inside water. If you check it, you can see how the shape is. Yam fingers. I cut it into yam fingers first and washed it properly with salt. And at the same time, I decided to use sweet potato. I have sweet potato here. So I peeled it off and removed some of the black parts of it, on any part that would not that has any spots. And what I did was to start slicing it into flat shape, and of course I have to be careful, if not I would have cut my finger. So I decided to put it in flat shapes and to cut it also in finger shapes so that I can get both in finger shapes, both the yam and the sweet potatoes, put them well the way it's supposed to be. So you can see that one. This one that you put now is really nice. The other one that was somehow in a half, so I decided to cut it that same way, but even though it's just in a smaller pieces that it came out. So but anyways, all of them came out very fine, very fine, and I love it that way. I decided to make this yam fingers Yamarita, as we call it, because it's Yamarita. So I needed to give my family a different taste of food, not to boil yam or just fry ordinary potato like that. You can see I rewashed it again after I cut it. Here I decided to wash it and put inside a pot and make sure that I wash it very well, because guys, you can't afford to be eating this and at the same time you'll be chewing sand. So I remembered and put my salt, a little bit of salt, not much, because the water I put is enough to take away some of the salts in it. So I now put it on fire so that it can cook for 20 minutes. I did not put it just for some people put for 15 minutes, but this one I put for 20 minutes and allow it to cook very well. So while that was happening, I decided to measure 1 cup of flour and put in the plate that I'm gonna use, because of course we're going to coat the yam with the flour. So I decided to bring out my baking powder and added 1 teaspoon of baking powder into the flour. Remember, it's 1 cup of flour that I measured and put there. Now we're gonna use a bit of salt inside it, just a bit of salt. Don't mind me, I should have put the measurement for that one. So I brought my parsley flakes. I put the parsley flakes into the flour, so it will have the patches of the flakes. I love using that parsley flakes. So I have suya spice also, so I decided to use my suya spice here. So, and I'll still measure 1 teaspoon of suya spice. That's what I'm using here. So you can see it, I measured it and put into the flour. And oh my God, this is lovely. This is lovely. So we'll mix it together, mix it very well so that everything will come up together. You can't afford to just make it and the result will not be coming out fine. I really love this, guys. I love it because it's been a long time we've been eating boiled yam, normal fried yam. Oh, of course, my family get tired of it. So this time around, I decided to give them a different method of making food. Here I have my 4 eggs. I brought out 4 large eggs. You can decide to use 3 eggs depending on the size of the yam fingers that you have, the quantity of the yam that you want to use. So you get it out and wash it properly to remove any sort of dirt. So I begin to crack the eggs. and make sure I crack it very well. You can see that it's really, really lovely. The yolks and everything, the egg is very, very fresh. And this was gotten freshly from the farm. The person that supplies this egg to us gets it freshly from her farm and brings it to me, and I just open my gate and receive it. It's really lovely, guys. So now that we are finished cracking the egg, we'll set aside the shell and keep it. I've not decided what I will do with that shell. So sometimes I throw it away, sometimes I use it for something else. So I'll put a bit of salt into the egg, repeating the spices, the things that I added on the normal flour. So we're gonna put also the suya spice. One teaspoon. This time around I put a little bit, it's not up to half teaspoon into the egg, because we already have 1 teaspoon into the flour. So in this now, I'm not putting any other thing inside, so I decided to be missing the egg. That's very okay. That's very okay. So I beat it and beat it and beat it very, very well, so that it will look good. That's very good, and I love that. So now that the yam that I boiled, I set it aside to get cold while washing off the dishes. So I decided to start coating it in the flour. You can see I make sure that it goes very well, then shake off the excess flour that I have on the yam fingers and be putting it in the separate plate that I brought out. Then make sure you shake off the flours, very excess flour on it, before you start putting it into the plate that you set aside. So you take time and do it very, very well. You see, the way I did it, I took my time to do it very well, both the yam and the potato I put together. Because actually, other time I've been doing this, I've been doing it with only yam. But this time around, I say, why not? Why don't I put sweet potato in it? So I added sweet potato to this one and see how my family will love it. And of course, oh, it's gonna come out very, very fine. Very, very fine, guys. I believe you should try this at home. This is lovely. You can see the way I'm shaking off the flour, and that's the way I continue doing all of them, getting all of them coated very, very well. So it's really working out very fine. You see, I began to do it gradually, gradually. You can see that the sweet potato has the yellow um color, while the yam was still white as it is. So that's the way I continued doing it, and you can see the way it looks like when I shook up the flour on it. Now I've completed all the coating of the flour on it. So the flour that I used, you can see all the spices I put in it. I'm not going to throw it away. So I decided to keep the flour aside because I will use it for something else. That's lovely. So we have the egg there. So I put my frying pan with the oil in it, put on the fire so that it will start heating. Now I have to check with the suya stick. I normally use this stick to make my suyas, so I use it to put to know if it is ready. So immediately I put it, you can see that it started like kind of frying it. So I knew that the oil is ready. So now it's time to coat the already coated yam finger with the flour. So I'm coating it now with the egg. You can see. So I pick up my plastic fork and pick it up, shook off the excess egg on it and dropping it into the fire. I mean, my hand was shaking when I was doing this. Yeah. So I'm the cameraman of myself. Sometimes I tend to make a little mistake, and that will be corrected better next time. So I coated it, shook off the little excess egg in it. So I'll be dropping it into the oil, guys. So that's how I continued doing this and putting it All right. My family cannot wait to take this. They can't wait to taste this yummy food. So as I was dropping more and more into the egg, the fresh egg that I already, you saw how I spiced it very well, and that is it. So I keep adding, and make sure that it is properly covered with the egg, flipping it to the other side, and so that it will coat properly. Make sure that it's really soaked into that egg properly. You see, sometimes some of these things tend to be stubborn. That one refused to come out from the egg. So we continued. So that's how I continued doing this and putting it into the hot oil. It started frying, and at the same time I was checking the temperature or the heat that is transferring to the oil, and at the same time reduced it in a way that this thing will not get burnt. So I started flipping it. You see? So as it is frying, and I started flipping it and making sure that it is properly fried. And all of them came out very lovely, guys. And for you to have watched this video up to this point, it means that you're already falling in love with my recipe and the way it works out. And I believe that some of you will follow this recipe and do your own and make Yamarita for your families to enjoy. Family is everything, guys. I love making my family happy. So that's how I continue frying it until it turned to golden brown. Oh, this is lovely. I can't wait to serve my family this yummy breakfast. This is lovely. It's really good. So, and I believe it's getting to the time for us to bring out the first batch that we started putting on fire now. It's coming out fine. So we decided to bring it out, and you can see how lovely it is. It is nice. It turned out very fine. I love this. You can see the outcome of this Yamarita. I believe you will try this at home. Thank you so much for always watching my videos, both our live streaming. Bye.